Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Sunday, March the 12th, 2023. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach. A little dressy today, just got back from church, didn't have time to throw on the Coach Talk duds. So you get fancy Coach today. So hopefully that doesn't scare anybody away. But great to see everyone. Awesome group in here already. Fantastic. And we have a really fun 4-game NBA main slate for DraftKings, FANDUEL, and YAHOO that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we are going to go over that here, break down the 4 games, talk a little bit about the games, the injuries. Obviously, who's in and out is going to be a very key factor. We also have some good information on pace of play, defensive efficiency, all of the little pieces that we're going to look for every edge that we can. And with my preliminary builds here, I think we have a really good 4-game slate. For a small slate, I think it's pretty potent. And there's some great pay-ups and there's some great values. And I also think there are some landmines there that we're going to avoid. So we will talk about all of that. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining me on this Sunday. Hopefully you're enjoying your weekend and your day. We are here at DFS Coach Talk, have a special March Madness that we just updated this morning. It is for the remainder of March, so it's only the 12th, long ways to go, and it's $10. That's it. And you get everything we've got. We provide all kinds of information for you, including projections for ownership. That's posted in our Discord for all of our members. And we do that for the NBA on all DraftKings, FanDuel, and YAHOO for anybody that plays those. We have 7-day-a-week podcasts. Deb and Crash carry the week for us and do a phenomenal job. I jump in on the weekends as well and just share the information. And we try to move things around a little bit so everybody gets a chance to get everybody's opinion. And then as a member, you get in our main chat Discord about 15 minutes before lock. You're going to get full lineups for FanDuel and YAHOO and a core build for DraftKings. So we would love to have you join us for the rest of March. This is really prime time for us getting ready for the NBA playoffs. I know a lot of people don't like to play regular season NBA in March and April because of the variance, the guys that are sitting, the teams that are tanking, all of the other aspects of things that are going on that make it a little bit tougher to build a DFS lineup. That's what we thrive in. We love when it's more difficult and you got to get a little bit deeper into it. And we want to do that work for you. We're constantly following Twitter, the team pages, the coach speak, any beat writer information, anything on the inside that we can get. And then on top of that, we watch a lot of games so that we understand, hey, this team is running hot right now. This team is a good team to avoid. They look like, the coach isn't on the same page, or you have teams in a groove. All of those things matter because they increase the amount of possessions during a game. Key possessions, they keep teams more competitive. And for those teams that are in that type of position, we really can find some key plays. And then for the teams that really are tanking and trying to get in position for Wembanyama in the draft, we're going to avoid those as much as possible. So a lot of edge here to be had in mid-March through the start of the NBA playoffs. And we would love if you would join us at DFS Coach Talk to take advantage of that. Last thing before we dive into these 4 games, if you want to take advantage of that $10 membership for the rest of March, just go to Twitter. We're at DFS Coach Talk. Just DM us there. Say you'd like to take advantage of the $10 March Madness membership, and we will respond, send you a link to join, and you'll be good to go. I'm also going to give a couple tickets away during this podcast today. And same thing, go to Twitter at DFS Coach Talk and say you won one of the tickets today. Include your PayPal email with that, and we will get that to you so that you can play tonight's games. All right, very exciting today. Great to see such a huge group in here. Love it. Absolutely love it. Make sure to put any questions in chat. I will try to check those as we go through all of these games. And then certainly you'll be able to jump in Discord, see some of our discussions there, what's going on there, and then get our lineups prior to lock. Now, we had a lot of today, the clocks jumped ahead, so maybe that's messed up some people. Then, of course, on Sundays, instead of a 7 p.m. lock, it's a 6 p.m. Eastern lock. So you've got a lot of variables there that you got to pay attention to. But we will be on top of it. We will have everything posted for you in Discord, and we'll be ready to get this done. While you are jumping in and listening here to begin this breakdown, do us a huge favor. Hit the thumbs up button. That means a lot to us. It helps us move up the algorithm on YouTube. It also just gets the awareness out there of Coach Talk. And if you're watching live on Twitter, please like and retweet there. We would love to grow Coach Talk family for sure. All right, quick check to our wonderful chat here to see who's in here. I love to see such a great group in early today. Stacks is starting to become the man to beat as far as first win in chat every day. So Stacks, great to see you in here. Pain Blank SM, also known as Dead Presidents. Great to have you as always. Double D, David Dulac is in the house. Thank you, David, for joining in, and he's here early today. That's pretty awesome. Sean V, what's up, my man? One of our goats in here. Always great. Sean V info gives us some good input and feedback. Gotta love that. One of my favorites as well, Jagakushti. Great to see you in here, my friend. Brad Tremblay. I don't know if that is somebody new. I can't remember. It doesn't strike me right off the top of my head. But if you are new, Brad, welcome. We'd love to have you be part of what we do here every day at Coach Talk. I'd love to have you become a member and do everything with us here. Now that you're part of the family, you're in the chat. Hopefully you can win a ticket today and get you aboard. Rose is in here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, we're going to say to Rose here. Great to have you. Absolute Power, of course. My man Rico Harris. How are you, Rico? JT, Justin Timberlake joins us again. Maybe a song medley at the end of the podcast from JT. Doug L, which we know as Coach Talk family as Doug W, because of all the wins, and that's what it goes by in our Discord. And then Todd lives for Sundays, and it's actually Sunday. So now we know that this is the day that Todd is taking down just about everything. And so you want to make sure you're not in the same contest with Todd, because I see a clean sweep coming for him for sure. All right, let's get this done, my friends. 4 games, interesting games, lots of news. What I think we're going to do today, go a little bit different order. I think I'm going to talk about ownership right off the jump street here, because it affects a lot of things as we discuss these 4 games. So let's dive into the most updated projected ownership. We're going to walk through those. We're going to start out on DraftKings. It will give you the top 20 spots on all 3 main sites, and then we'll just get some feedback from there. Najee Marshall right now coming in at 73%, an enormous number for Najee, but we know that the Pels are shorthanded, and his role should be right there with some of the better ones. CJ McCollum is second at 51% projected ownership, another Pelican, which is also to be expected. Then we've got 3 Spurs. So, you live on the edge when you stack any Spurs. I should say 1 Thunder and 2 Spurs from that game. I'm sorry. But the Spurs definitely have potential, and the price is right, but there's always risk. Josh Giddey is third at 45%. Vassell and Johnson, the two Spurs, at 41 and 35%. And again, on DraftKings, only 5,800 and 6,700. So I get the temptation there. Then we got Dame Dollar, 10-5, but still grabbing 23% ownership. One of the most popular pay-ups, actually the most popular pay-up on the slate on DraftKings. And it's understandable. That Portland-New Orleans game should be a pretty hot game for sure. Herb Jones at 5,100. Isaiah Joe, 4,800. He's punched me in the gut a few times, and I'm a big Isaiah Joe guy, but man, he's been not getting to the number for us. Then you have the other pay-up of choice here is Anthony Davis. He's 10-7, and that game against the Knicks, he's coming in at about 20.5 projected ownership. And then, of course, a guy that I thought would even be higher, Emmanuel Quickly, is about 19%, but we know that Brunson is out. So I know Quickly's going to be super popular, and his Knick running mate is next, Julius Randle, who's sub 10K at 9.8. Didn't get it done for us the other day, but again, a game without Brunson against a Lakers team that's not good defensively, certainly a consideration. Run by the FanDuel one's a little bit quicker. So those that are playing more FanDuel, here's what we have initially. And a lot of heavy chalk, 50, 60%, which you're going to see when you only have a 4-game slate. You have Najee Marshall, Josh Giddey, Isaiah Joe, CJ McCollum, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Emmanuel Quickly, Jared Vanderbilt, Lugans Dort, AD, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, and Tyrese Maxey. So that's how it's looking so far on FanDuel. And then we'll finish the ownership double check here with Yahoo. CJ McCollum, number one, only $29 there, a really good deal, but you got to eat the chalk. He's 55% projected on Yahoo. Then AD right behind him at $49. Najee Marshall, Josh Giddey, Dame Lillard, Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickly, Keldon Johnson, a lot of the same names on all three sites. Then you have D'Angelo Russell, an RJ Barrett sighting, Jonas Valanciunas, Lugans Dort, Devin Vassell, Jalen Williams with no Y from the Thunder, and Herbert Jones. So that is our initial look at ownership. So keep that in mind as we're going through some of this, and we'll definitely add some things. Let's see, Jeremy Grant's birthday. If anybody likes that narrative, thank you, Sean. Yeah, you can play some birthdays. I know Luka had a big game on his birthday the other day. Everybody's loving Quickly. That's definitely going to be a popular one. Let's see, people paying up for Simons and Nurk for Portland. Yeah, I mean, that game is really popular, Portland, New Orleans. There's no doubt about it. Let's see, Doug L., my folks can hear you, Coach. Okay, that's good. I want your folks to hear me. All right, are you guys ready? Game one, let's hit this right now and roll. 6 p.m., Washington Wizards 31 and 36 at the Philadelphia 76ers 44 and 22. Washington is 19th in pace, Philadelphia 25th, so not a lot of pace of play there. Defensively, Washington 20th, Philadelphia is in the top 10 at 8th. Neither team is showing any injuries reported for this game, which is definitely odd. I don't know if we've seen that in a long time. Without question, a different thing. And then as far as the spread here, Philadelphia is a 7.5 point home favorite. The total is 226.5, 109.5 implied for the Wizards, 117 even for the Philadelphia 76ers. So as we're looking at this game, obviously you're going to have that Harden, Maxey, and Embiid trio from Philly that are going to get decent ownership. But as I mentioned in the ownership section there, as far as the main pay-up, it is not a lot of love for Joel Embiid. He's a third of the three big pay-ups, and not as popular as he normally is. So interesting there. I don't know if people are projecting that they're going to beat Washington pretty soundly or what the case may be, but certainly Embiid's still an option. I mean, if you're going to pay up, there's some value here. Can you get two of the superstars? That might be a bit of a stretch on a 4-gamer. You certainly can, but you may really have to dig deep for those last couple of guys unless some additional news breaks. So as of right now, I think, Maxey, a decent play. Harden's played very well. I would go more towards those two than the complete spend up for Embiid at this moment. On the Washington side, it looks like it's going to be Morris, Bill, Kuzma, Porzingis, and Gafford. So when they have Bill, Kuzma, and Gafford, and Porzingis all playing, it definitely is a bit of a deterrent because of the usage split. Beal's played better after really having a poor season, and he's at 8-4, so you're not getting away cheap there. Kuzma's down to 7-7, but he's been pretty inconsistent since his return. Porzingis is 9K, so you have a big commitment there. Maybe the play is to go, with a Gafford if you need a center at 4-7. He's been getting steady minutes. Again, you're going to get some inconsistency, and he does have to face Joel Embiid. So not the first place I'm going to go. A little worried about the Monte Morris, DeLon Wright split, if you will, at point. I have played DeLon Wright just an absolute bushel load the last couple of weeks, and he's done really well. But now with Monte Morris back and probably starting, it definitely is much riskier to go that direction. Really not crazy about any of the bench players for either one of these squads. DeAnthony Melton, I guess is a little bit tempting from the Philly side at only 4-6, and without a ton of value, that might be a spot that you want to consider. All right, quick check of chat. See what everybody's doing here. Let's see, a lot of chit chat. I love that. GJP is in here, our friend Garage Junkie Productions. Welcome. And as he always does, he reminds everybody to gently caress that like button so that we can get those numbers way up. So thank you, GJP. I always have trouble with those numbers. Let's see, who else do we have here? Damian Darby. So it's always a special day when we have both sets of double Ds in here. And you know what I'm talking about. Damian Darby, and of course, our man, who is it? Who knows who the other double D is? David Dulac. That should be an automatic. Our regulars. Sean V says 76ers tough at home, 25-10 there, play even better D at home. They do, absolutely do. And that's why I am not a Washington Wizards person today by any stretch. Mob Life OOMP. I don't know. Mob Life. I don't know how to pronounce that exactly. And I know you're new. Fantastic to have you, my friend. James Harden over 22. I think that's a nice play. I think I would take that, Mob Life, definitely. And thank you for being part of what we're doing here at Coach Talk. Rodney Pollard. I haven't said hello to Rodney Pollard forever. How are you, my friend? Fantastic to have you in here with us. And I did say it right. Okay, so it's Mob Life Oomp. Is that right? I hope that's right. But again, great to have you in here with us. All right, my friends, game 2. We're going to keep this train moving. No playing around today. It is the regular time of 7 p.m. In fact, we have 2 of those. So we got a 6 p.m. Eastern, 2 7 o'clockers, and then a big 2-hour wait for that Knicks-Lakers extravaganza. So that should be pretty interesting. All right, it's the Portland Trailblazers, 31-36 at the New Orleans Pelicans, 32-35. We have Portland 21st in pace and the Pelicans 16th. So not a pace jump in this game by any stretch. Defensively, though, Portland, horrible. That's why they're barely missed the playoffs probably. They're 27th in defense. Pelicans, though, have really played much better D than people thought they would. They are 9th, and a lot of that is Herbert Jones, some of that interior defense. They've got a nice little squad and some good defenders off the bench, too. Tons of news in this game, though. Lillard, probable. We expect him to go. Arcidiacono, questionable. And Baji and Winslow are out. For the Pelicans, it looks like Larry Nance, Deb's favorite all-time NBA player. He's very likely to play, so he's probable. But they do have 4 people out. Alvarado, Ingram, Liddell, and Cheeseburgers Williamson. So they're still playing definitely shorthanded to where they were before. Vegas sees this game a little interesting. They've got Portland favored by 2.5. So it's as a road favorite, expecting to be a very close game, which surprised me. I truly thought the Pelicans would be favored by about 2.5 themselves. So I guess it's, with some injuries, they don't feel that they're going to be as competitive. And I get it. I mean, especially with Ingram, that's a big hit for them. 115.75 implied for the Trailblazers, 113.25 for the Pelicans. So you get a decent number on both of these teams, even though the total is not the biggest on the board by any stretch. Dame, one of the top pay-ups, certainly one of the ones you want to look at, is a Dame, Anthony Davis, those two being 1-2, in my opinion, for the buy-up. And then Joel Embiid maybe slightly behind them, and then Anthony Davis and Julius Randle. Those are the guys I think you're going to have to make some decisions. Can you get 2 of those 5 in there? Ideally, that's the way to go, in my opinion, and then just trying to see where and how they fit. CJ McCollum obviously getting a ton of ownership, and very deservedly so here, with all those guys out. The projected starting lineup is McCollum, Murphy, Marshall, Jones, and Joval. So, you expect CJ to step up and be the leader here, scoring the ball. And I think he's a really solid play. He's, doesn't fit one of my builds, but definitely in the other. So I'm not afraid of eating a little chalk here with CJ. I think, though, the value guys for New Orleans, I just love. Murphy, Marshall, and Jones. I'm not going to play more than 2 of them, and only going to play 2 Pels total. So the lineup with McCollum, I'll play one of the values in Murphy, Marshall, or Jones. And then the other lineup where I can't afford CJ, I'll probably play 2 of these value guys, Murphy, Marshall, or Jones. Don't trust Joval, though. I know he can have good games, but his minutes have been sporadic. His foul trouble and performance has been sporadic, so really don't want to go there. As far as the Portland side, again, Dame is one of my pay-up build guys that I'm looking at right now. And then after that, you got to roll the dice a little bit here if you want to spend up a little bit for Jeremy Grant. You can go that route. Simons looks good, and Thibault is getting minutes, so you certainly could go that way. I am going to avoid the whole Nurkic and any of the bigs that Portland are playing with that rotation of guys that they have. So for me, it's probably going to be Lillard, combination of a couple of Pelicans, and this will be an important game for me. And I think it's going to go overlooked a little bit because so many people are going to want to get to this OKC San Antonio game. And then, a lot of people are going to want to have that late game of Knicks Lakers. But don't overlook this Portland Pelicans game. Both teams are fighting for the last 10th spot in the playoffs. They're both trying, and that means a lot, at this point in the season. And I think that you're going to get some benefit from those guys for sure. Let's see who else. Good Sunday vibes. King of all trades. What's up, my friend? Definitely good Sunday vibes. No doubt about it. Doug L, as we know as Doug W, likes CJ. It's really hard not to like CJ when, they're with Zion and Ingram and those guys out. Oh my goodness, we have Deb Lutz in here. That is it. Now the podcast can officially begin. It's Deborah Lutz. Super duper Sunday, y'all. We've got the magic of Coach. Wow. How about that? A little magic being spread here, according to Deb. So we're going to take it and share it. No doubt about it. Marshall for me, for Doug L. Najee's tough, man. He's a really good points per minute guy. There's no question about it. Lillard usage down from the last game. I mean, the dude is just, since Luka brought Kyrie, to that squad, it's been number one usage for Dame. So I know it was down a little bit. I mean, the dude has to take the foot off the gas time to time, but I think today he puts it right back on. Simons is back. And when he was out, that was even worse usage on Dame. But, having Simons is a good thing for Dame because it spreads the floor a little bit. It gives him a little bit better angle. It takes away some of those blitzes and double teams because they don't want to leave Simons completely open. So I think there's some benefit to Lillard here, and I really like him in this spot for sure. All right, let's go to game 3. We got 2 games left. The other game here at 7 is Oklahoma City, 32-35 at the San Antonio Spurs, 17-49. We've got the pace champions in this game, Oklahoma City 6th and San Antonio 2nd. So that should be the game that everybody circles based on that when you include the fact that the Spurs are the worst defensive rated team in the league, dead last at 30th. Oklahoma City's been right around top 10, top 15 pretty much all year. They're sitting at 13th. So not bad defensively, but no SGA today. So it does change everything there with Oklahoma City. So you're going to see a lot of favoritism to this game. This is going to be the game that's the most owned. And, a lot of that reason is you got a big 237 total in Vegas and Oklahoma City, a 3-point road favorite. So according to Vegas, this game stays close and it's not going to be defended well. So you've got a 120.25 implied for OKC and 117.25 for the Spurs. So it absolutely blasts our theory of we love to focus on games where both teams have an implied total over 115. These two teams smash that. So it's 237.5 right now and moving up, and that spread is still very close. So based on everything here, you cannot avoid this game. On a 4-game slate, you have got to have exposure here. There's going to be more possessions, more points scored, more possibilities. And then you take SGA and his huge usage out of there. It brings a ton of guys in play for the Thunder. The guys that I like, Josh Giddey, if you want to spend the $8K, a great play. I'm an Isaiah Joe fan, and he's 4.8K. Again, it gives me a stomachache because he has had a few poor games, but I want to stick with him. It's against the Spurs. The guy can score. He plays really hard, and I'm hoping that he can get that done. The guy, though, on the Thunder that picks up the biggest bump in usage all the way around when SGA is out isn't Giddey. It's Lou Dort. And Mr. Dort has had some poor games. The ceiling has not been as good this year, but always very tempting at 5.7K when, we know that he picks up some of the usage, assist ratio, and everything else when SGA is out. So he is certainly definitely on my radar. Then you've got the Jalen Williams brothers. The one without the Y is 7.1K and, pretty expensive, but he has been tearing it up. And then the big boy, Jalen Williams, much more inconsistent. They've used a rotation with some other bigs in there. So at 3.9, wouldn't go down there. I don't think it's really necessary. Bunch of guys off the bench, nobody really worth mentioning to me. So it's still 4 really, really good plays from the Thunder side. And I think you probably need to have 2 of them, of Giddey, Joe Dort and Jalen Williams with no Y. On the Spurs side, a guy that I really like, and when I play him, he's come through. And I really like this situation. Malachi Branham. He's only 4'4". He's, I believe, going to start at point guard with Trey out. So let's just go over the guys that are out this game. Make sure we don't miss that on the Spurs side. So we've got SGA out for OKC. We know that. It looks like Johnson and Sokan are both going to play for the Spurs. So they're going to have their main guys. But Kem Birch is out, not a big deal. But Trey Jones is out, and that is huge because that really opens things up for Branham. And, maybe a few bench guys will get a few minutes in there. A lot of those guys off the bench, Bates, Job, Bassie, Mamu, Devontae Graham, who's been fantastic. So a lot of people won't go to Branham. I think they'll go to Graham. And, I like them both. I think they're both good, but I would definitely not play both of them. Graham at 4.7 and Branham at 4.4. I think you got to have exposure here for that value. I'm looking more toward Branham, but I think either one is a very good play. Devin Vassell's only 5'8". So I don't know how you get away from that cheap price tag when we know what he's capable of doing. Again, this is Pop. It's a Sunday. You never know what Pop's going to do. They don't want to win. They do have a deep bench now out of nowhere. And so there's, I'm afraid on the Spurs side. I'm probably only going to cherry pick one Spur and play a couple of Thunder players on the other side. You can hit the jackpot with the Spurs if you pick the right couple of guys, but there's more of a chance that you can also catch a landmine here with any of these guys. Branham, Vassell, Johnson, Sokan, Zach Collins, Bates, Job, Bassie, Mamu, Devontae Graham. That's the main group, but that's 10 guys. So, for me, I'm going to look more to the super value underpriced play on Vassell at 5'8" or Branham at 4'4", and then load up with a couple of Thunder players on the other side. So, again, key game, and it should be. And you definitely have to have exposure there, in my opinion. There's no question about it. Earl Mike Pep Tyson is in here. Let's go. Roundhouse is by Mr. Pep Tyson. Great to have you in here, my friend. I will answer the FanDuel Center, FanDuel Center as a value. Okay, I'll look at that for you. Give you some of my top FanDuel plays, Mr. Mike Tyson. Lindy Waters, Juga Kushti, I get it. He's decent. He definitely is in the thought process with SGA out, and I just don't feel I have to go that deep. Can he outscore one of those four guys that I like from the Thunder? It's possible, but I don't think it's probable. And some of those guys are pretty cheap anyway. So I don't think Lindy Waters is a terrible play, maybe last man in, maybe a decent shot on a GPP. But for cash, I think it's just a slight bit of a reach, even with Mr. SGA being out. Thumbs up, Mr. Tyson. Yes, we would really appreciate that. Let's see. Malachi is 5.1K on FanDuel. King of all trades says. Dinwiddie still looks good, though. Okay. Everybody chit-chatting in here. I love it. Without question. TJ Gaming. I think that's somebody new. Welcome to the family as well. Fantastic to have you in here. All right. If you haven't made a comment in chat, I like to reward the people that chit-chat in here and talk with each other. So I am going to push the button here in about 10 seconds, and the randomizer will pick somebody from the chat that has been active in chat, and they're going to win a free ticket for a contest today. So we are going to hit that button. The winner is Brad Tremblay. Brad Tremblay, congratulations. You have won a ticket for today's contest. You can play on DraftKings, FanDuel, or Yahoo. All you have to do, Brad, go to Twitter at DFS Coach Talk, DM us, let us know that you won a ticket on today's show, and we will have another ticket to give out here after we complete this last game. So congratulations, sir. All right. Any other questions? Put them in there. I'll talk about FanDuel here at the end once we clear this last game. Last game is a standalone. It is a 9 p.m. Eastern game. New York Knicks 39-30. The LA Lakers 33-34. Lakers a home favorite, even though the Knicks are definitely a better team. Lakers favored by 3.5. The total is only 225.5. So definitely a weird line. Didn't expect that, to be honest with you. 111 implied for the Knicks, 114.5 for the LA Lakers. As far as pace goes, Knicks play slow. We all know that. They're 27th. Lakers have moved into first, though. They're playing with more pace than anybody else in the NBA. Defensively, you have two middle-of-the-road teams here. Not too bad. Knicks 12th, Lakers 15th, which is surprising. People don't realize Lakers aren't that pathetic defensively, to be honest with you. They added some pieces here with Brown and Vanderbilt. AD, of course, can defend. So they have some decent defenders in place. So certainly not a target game. I do have my second favorite pay-up guy in this game, though, and it is Julius Randle. He's 9.8. I know he stung me last time. I know AD's defense in the interior is good. Jaron Vanderbilt's a good defender. But Julius has to step up here. I don't think the Knicks should be underdogs here. The fact that, there's no Brunson, you've got to look at Julius Randle as a serious consideration. I think he's a nice weapon to have in the holster here going into that last game. The other guy that's going to get a decent amount of ownership, and deservedly so, is Emmanuel Quickley. We know what he's capable of when Brunson's out. He's still sub-K at 6.9. And so for me, Quickley and Randle seem very chalky, but seem like the obvious picks here. And I think that that's the spot you have to go. If you really look elsewhere on that squad, Grimes, Barrett, Mitch Robb, Josh Hart, Hartenstein, Toppin, you're really gambling there. And I think you got to do that maybe in a GPP if you want, but it just doesn't seem like a spot to take up when, you could be looking at a 14-point fantasy day from one of those guys, which would sink the ship. On the Lakers side, it's pretty interesting as well. D'Angelo Russell's back, and he's sub 7K. He played the last game, and so should be a little more primed to get it done today at 6.8. Beasley's been a disappointment at 4.9. He can always spike a good game, but super concerned with him. Troy Brown, really a crapshoot play. I wouldn't recommend it. Jared Vanderbilt is going to get a lot of ownership, and he is. He's only 5K. And for some reason, DFS is absolutely in love with Jared Vanderbilt. And I just look at his totals and what he's done. He's just not that good of a DFS player, and he's not really a good offensive player. He's a terrific guy to have on your team because he's a super defender. He's long. He'll get you some stocks here and there, but he's not going to be a giant scorer at any point in his career. It's just not in his DNA, in my opinion. And I know 5K is going to get over-owned, and I think it's a decent fade here, to be honest with you. AD, though, at 10.7, certainly a guy that you have to look at here. If you look at trying to pay up for two guys, Dame, Julius, or an AD, those are the three at the top of my list right now. AD has to carry this team with LeBron out, and he knows it, and he's been doing it. Mitch Robb plays good defense inside, has a tendency to get in foul trouble time to time. But, with he and Hartenstein, they will throw a few bodies on Davis. So I don't think Davis is my favorite pay-up. I like Dame better. I actually like slightly Julius better just because you save $1,000. And, I think similar ceilings to some extent. I know Davis is projected much higher, and I will have him in some of my lineups, but I think you can get away if you don't want to spend up in that spot. No, don't like the guys off the bench, the Schroeders, Reeves, Hashimuras, Gabriels, Lonnie Walkers. Just not enough minutes, not enough guys you can really count on there. All right, those are the 4 games. We went over ownership. We talked about statistically what we think these games are going to be made of. Let's see if we have any other comments. Yeah, King of all trades likes Randall and AD. You certainly can go with both. Absolutely. I'd love to. I'd love to have both and Dame, but I don't know if I can make that work. But I will juggle around those. But I do agree with you. I think those 2 are in fantastic spots. Sean V likes Josh Hart as well. Yeah, I played him last time Brunson sat. He didn't get the bump that I thought. It all went to quickly went berserk. So a little bit more like I like quickly a little bit more than Hart here with Brunson out. Russell and Schroeder, yeah, I prefer Russell. Schroeder has let me down too many times. Definitely some inconsistency there. All right, if there's any other questions, this would be the time to put those in there. I'll talk about some FanDuel picks. Let's see if anybody else had questions I missed. Would you rather stack the Lakers game or the Knicks game? For me, the Lakers are playing the Knicks, so so I'm not sure if you want to stack that game or not, but I believe. Okay, Spurs I meant. I see TJ. Okay, I wasn't reading ahead. I'm going to have exposure to both. I'm not going to be like, stack 5-6 guys from either one of those games. On this 4-game slate, and the reason I like it, and it's like a 4.5 crown slate out of 5 for me, is I like breaking it up with like one guy from that early game and then 2 or 3 guys from all of these 3 games and mix and match in those. I don't think you can say, I like all 3 games, Portland, New Orleans, OKC, San Antonio, Knicks, Lakers. I like all 3 of those games, and I think you need to have exposure to all 3 of those games. So I'm going to have a combination of them. So to answer your question, not that I'm ducking it, but I think an equal ownership as opposed to a full-blown stack. Now, if you're paying a bunch of GPPs, you want to take something down, and you want to hope one of these games stays close, goes double overtime, blows everybody else away, you certainly can do that. But regular hardcore lineup, the lineups that we give out in Discord, we're going to put in there, a little sampling of all of these teams and expect that they're all going to get there. That's what we're planning on doing. So, yes, king of all trades. I like Russell and AD the best for AD and then Russell in that order for that game. All right, so we're getting FanDuel questions. So I'm going to take a second, jump on FanDuel, and give you a couple of things that stand out to me initially in positionality here as far as who I think is really in a great spot. So let me get the latest here, and we had multiple questions, and I want to answer those. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look. As far as pay up, AD at 11.3, Dame Lillard at 10.6, and Julius Randle at 9.8 would be my pay ups that I really like. We had a center question on who do I think the best value center is. And this is where you got to be very careful. I'm not going to fall for any of these inexpensive centers like Jalen Williams with a Y, Charles Bassey, Drew Eubanks, no. I guess Daniel Gafford would be the first guy I would even consider at 5,600. Don't like Mitch Robinson and Joe Val that much, or Zach Collins. They're 63, 66, and 68. Don't feel comfortable enough at those prices. Don't like Nurk at 7. Porzingis at 9.4, not conducive game there. So more than likely, if I go cheap, it's going to be Gafford on FanDuel. If not, I'm just going to plug AD in there and be done with it. It's a $700 savings over Embiid for Davis, and I think they could have similar outcomes in that stretch. So like that. A couple other things. Again, Julius Randle of power, I think, is a nice play there. And then you can get some really, fair mid-price deals. Herb Jones at 66, Trey Murphy gets 62, I think is a decent play. Cam Reddish is only 52, but, you're going to have to deal with some volatility. My favorite small forward on FanDuel would be Najee Marshall. He's only 49, and he's going to get really solid minutes. Could be second highest producer on that team to CJ at that really cheap price. Let's take a look at shooting guard for a second. CJ McCollum, 8,100, very fair price, actually underpriced considering all those guys are out. Giddey at 8K, Jalen Williams with no Y at 77. I like those guys a ton, but the money problem becomes an issue. Then you've got this situation with Quickly. Certainly the second best play to Randall as far as I'm concerned on the Knicks, but he's 7,000. So it's those days of getting Quickly, for free basically are well over. So, but still 7,000 is not out of price for me for a guy like Quickly. You have Herb Jones, 66, Maxey, 66, Devin Vassell, 65. Simons is only 64. I think that's another spot, especially if you're not going to buy up for Dame. I think Simons becomes a nice, much cheaper pivot if you want to pay up for one of the other big guys. After that, it gets a little tough. I don't want to go down to Lindy Waters at 4-4 or some of these really risky guys, Josh Richardson, 49, Beasley, 53. Too risk adverse here for me to go that route. And then point guards, of course, Dame at 10-6, you got to pay the piper. James Harden at 10-2 makes it really tough. So probably not going to go there, but can Harden lead the slate in scoring? Absolutely. CJ at 81, again, great play. I do like D'Angelo Russell, 7,500 in that game. Brunson is a tough-nosed defender. He's not, a NBA all-defensive player, but he gets after people, and I think it helps that the Knicks will be a little shorter there with quickly trying to defend, and Russell could have a ceiling game. Simons, again, a nice play, and he's got the shooting guard, point guard eligibility. If you believe in some Spurs bench, you can get Devontae at 56, but I don't know how many minutes he gets. I'll probably play Isaiah Joe for the 9 millionth time. He's only 4,400, and he does allow me to get to that third pay-up guy that I'd like to. So hopefully that answers all your questions from FanDuel. And then let me just check for last-minute questions, and then I will give away that ticket, and I'll let you guys get on the road. All right, let's see. Best center on FanDuel, I mentioned that. Yeah, Mitch Robb. You never know with Mitch Robb. There's definitely some risk, but certainly can pay off. Gafford and AD look like a good call. King of all trades agrees. William Carson. Hello, William Carson. I believe you're new to the family. Welcome. I'd love to have you join us at Coach Talk. And he's on Yahoo. I absolutely love Yahoo, William. People are missing the boat. If you just play DraftKings and FanDuel, you are missing the boat. You got to play Yahoo. There are some fantastic contests on there and very winnable. I think it's a little softer than DraftKings and FanDuel competitive-wise. So I'm with you, William. I agree. And we'd love to have you with us every day. We're 7-day-a-week podcast. Jones is out, so Graham may get some extra minutes. He may, but I think Branham is going to get the biggest chunk, and that's where I'm looking as well. Okay, I'm going to give away this final ticket, and then I'll let you guys get things rolling. The final ticket goes to Sean V. Mr. Sean V wins a free ticket today. So for our two winners, if you can jump on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk, DM us your PayPal email. We'll send you that ticket before the contest go this evening. Appreciate the huge crowd today. Fantastic group. Hopefully everybody, got something out of this and it helps you with your builds. Show us some love here, some thumbs up on the way out if you would. You can join us every day at DFS Coach Talk, and if you want to come aboard as a member, take advantage of the rest of March for $10. That's it. You trip to Starbucks for you and yours. For that price, you're going to get the rest of the month, all of our NBA, all of our PGA, NASCAR, MMA. You're going to get all of that and our full lineups on FanDuel and Yahoo and our core builds on DraftKings. All right, my friends, appreciate all of you. Hopefully the bald head didn't scare people. I usually have my Coach Talk hat on, but if it didn't scare the kids and pets, then we're safe for another day. Definitely join Crash tomorrow. He's going to crush that slate. And then you've got Deb on Tuesday and so on. So appreciate all of you. Great group in here. Great questions. Great chat. Let's take some winners down and post some winners when you win. Let us know on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk so we can shout you out and show you some love. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Appreciate all of you. Have a great day and have a great week next week. I will see you next weekend, and don't miss out with Crash and Deb throughout the week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one. Take care, and we'll catch you again next time when we look to crush it in NBA DFS and PrizePicks.